Yeah. Okay. So, Peggy,
Hi.
hey, so tell me what you've learned in your 3 years of circling about like what it takes to really circle as well as you've come to be like almost like a master circler. Like what
Oh, this
what
is
is it?
fun. This is really fun. Um, I've learned to trust myself, and I've also learned to trust other people and their process. I sit more fully in my own skin, like um, meaning there's a way to where I just it kind of goes along with the trust, but there's just kind of a way to where I'm not in this trying to do it right or get it right or anything like that. I'm just trusting the process. Um, I'm more humble. Like, I really don't have all the answers. I really, and I, it's arrogant to even think I have answers. like, like seriously, the universe is way bigger than me. And how would I have the answers for somebody else? I mean, they're in their own process, in their own stage. It's not for me to, yeah, like, I don't know. It's just, so anyway, I have a lot more respect and gratitude for grace. Um, yeah, and it helps me in my life with, once I started noticing that I needed to trust other circlers and circlees, it's like, oh, well, then that means
All
maybe I
right,
need to trust my kids.
let's wait on that one. Let's wait on that one. We're still, what does it take to circle well? Like what have you learned to circle well?
Oh,
That's going to be part of the integration. Yeah. Anything else you've learned about what it takes to
oh yeah. This whole thing about acknowledging and the practice of being with what is such a big question. And just to notice that, well, there's just infinite things to notice. And so, I mean, again, it goes back to trusting that what I notice is pertinent, but, but also to kind of be open to so much bigger than figuring out or anything like that. And just knowing that figuring out is fool's gold. That's not the point. There could be all this orthogonal stuff happening and just allowing when I coach people I talk about defocusing like a magic eye book and just allowing sort of that intuition and discovering what's important rather than trying to figure anything out.
oh. So what you said was you've learned to trust yourself and other people and their process. You sit more fully in your own skin. You're not trying to do it right. And there's a humbleness. You recognize you don't have all the answers. And there's a respect and a gratitude for like grace. And being with what is, and you're realizing like how big of a deal that is. Um, and that there's infinite things to notice, and you just have to trust like and be open to, in a way, like your own intuition, to be able to to follow what's important. And you mentioned that discovery process, and that trying to figure it out just gets in the way of that. That's like a fool's gold. And so it's something about just being open to what's there. So in that 3 year process of like learning all this and having it be part of you,
You mean 8 years?
8 years. eight, 8 years. Shit. Um, yeah. How has that changed you? What has it given to you? Like, it's just who you are and how your life is.
Wow, I just like was bombarded with so many answers. Like as soon as you said that, I had so many answers just go like that.
Yeah. But what strikes you as the most important ones?
Oh my gosh. There's, well, I just have a lot more ease in my life. There's just a way to where, I mean, I already mentioned with the trusting, I mean, just trusting myself and others is huge. I think, I just really took life and really seriously, and that my way was the highway, and like I had truth with a capital T, and oh my gosh, man, oh man, it's, I mean, before even circling, I was already, that was sort of beaten out of me, but but now it's from a perspective of not from a perspective of being wrong and like feeling like I did everything wrong, but more from the perspective of kind of somehow being in sync with the fact that the universe is like way bigger than me, and that there's some sort of way of um, even when things don't go my way and I start to notice resistance, I remember that it's like not, it's the resistance that's the issue, not the whatever's happening. And so there's a way that I have a feedback loop that helps me get re in sync with things.
Mm. Uh, so you have a sense of ease now, a lot more trust, both for yourself and for other people, and that's shifted you from like a serious way of being and a kind of a righteousness to be my way to also like letting go of that, and also letting go of your like inner judgment of like, what is it, just am I wrong or something like that, or and to where you're now more in sync with like the universe itself, and the extent that there's like there's a bigness that you can't even possibly comprehend, um, but you get your own feedback loop, and there's something rich about that for you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, in the sense of helping me surrender to what is rather than fight about it or complain about it like everybody else in the culture or whatever. So when I
Mm,
find myself doing those things, I'm like, oh, I'm kind of crunchy now. And
right.
it's like, okay, what actually is going on here? And, I don't know. There's just like, those are like breadcrumbs for,
Yeah. So like the thing that stands out real big for me is like it went from my way to surrender.
Mhm.
That seems huge. Yeah. And so now like there's been this progression of this 8-year journey through all this, like obtaining like and installing and living within like a whole new way of being and showing up for yourself and for life. What do you see going forward with all that? Like, how does life look now in the, as you
Well,
look
it's
at
a
the
little bit of
future?
a cheat. We'll just name that this is a little bit of context cheat because I was working and now I'm retired, and there's a lot more relaxation just in my circumstances.
Mhm.
And so I was already feeling a lot of this stuff, even when I still had some angstiness of working. But now
Yeah.
that I don't have that, man, whew, it's just sort of like, yeah, I would say that there's more of like a I want to say deep listening, but I have a different flavor of deep listening than I had before. Now it's more like,
You know what? I went away. I think I jumped to the future too quickly. Um, can we back up for a second?
sure.
So I mentioned the list of every that you just went over everything that you've learned from circling and kind of what it's given you in your life, right? Um, yeah, no, I think this is right. It's more like yeah, I think it was like I was asking it in a way that was more like, what's your future going to look like versus what's it going to continue to give you? Like if you keep using keep incorporating all these ways of being, like what
Well, it's a little bit of a trick question, so I'll just name that because I mean, I wouldn't have guessed that this is how it would feel. Like one of the things that when I came into circling, I came from a group where it was all about waking up. And I would say in so many ways, that's what it feels like that I've woken up, but I would never have imagined that waking up would feel like this. meaning, meaning it's, it's just that I have some sort of I mean, one of the things you didn't use, but when you were describing it back to me, that I definitely have is compassion. It's like I can just sort of see, like, even when people are being jerks, I'm like, all of a sudden I can just see that they're tired or that they're in a bad mood or maybe they're not feeling very well. I can actually see it. It's not like while I'm getting bombarded with their bullshit, there's like a way that I'm like zoom out.
so, so waking up and compassion. And so what is so waking up seems big. And
Yeah,
so
so
does
waking up
compassion.
is like when I talked about the ease, it's like being in the flow and kind of, and it's really mundane. It's not like some big like woo woo, lots of energy flowing through me, which I've had plenty of, but it's literally day to day. I
Oh,
mean, you used the word equanimity when we were doing it the other way, and it's that, but it's like it's like gravity. It's just there. It's not some weird anything.
yeah. So there's something just like fundamental about it, right? It's waking up.
Yeah, and I've decided
Yes.
this is a really big thing I got from circling. It is a normal, natural part of human existence. It is not some whatever. It's not unattainable. It is, in fact, we all actually experience it. We just maybe experience it a little bit at a time, and it's not there very long to where we fully get it. And
Yeah.
so now it's like more sustainable to where it's just normal.
So there's this waking up to, oh, this is this is what my real human experience is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And what does that give you?
Well, I think it goes back to the compassion and also there's sort of a patience or something. There's sort of uh, so I've moved from grasping at everything to kind of a allowing where it's
Mm.
like when I talk about listening, it's not like a focused listening to get somewhere. It's just sort of like being aware of the whispers. So strangers, totally unawake people can completely change my life. It's not like I need to surround myself by new agers.
So there's a compassion, there's a new way of listening. I forget the other words that you used.
Patience.
Patience, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, who would ever think I'd have patience?
Yeah. So if you kind of combine all those with the waking up, what does all that give you?
No, there's really truly a lot of peace. Like in my marriage, we're really different. My husband's outside doing 600 million things, and I'm here inside doing whatever I feel like doing. And there's not any like angstiness between us about it. There's sort of a way where he loves me for who I am, and even things that he might not like about me, he still loves me. And same for him. It's like there's so much acceptance.
Mhm. So a sense of peace.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Anything else? Anything
I
else
would
that the
say in
peace
my
gives
life,
you?
the biggest thing really is, there's a lot of things in my family, with my kids, my adult children, and all this stuff that's not exactly the way that I want it. And so there is like that. So it's not like everything's beautiful and perfect in the way that I want it. And yet there's just sort of this way of me accepting that that's how it is, and accepting
Hmm.
that it's like, yeah, so maybe I really would love to have family occasions and everybody comes and everybody's like happy. And then I kind of step back and I realize, when everybody comes, it's pretty crunchy.
Hmm.
Maybe it's nice that I have these separately, like sort of like accepting and realizing that this is okay how it is.
Yeah. I do not know how a guy does this in 5 minutes.
All I know is I'm really
There's,
loving this. I feel like I'm being circled.
I know there's got to be a way that he just like seals the exits to like just the thing he wants, to bring out.
Oh, I was able to do that. There's a way where you're doing it to where you're circling me, and then I just go into all my stuff. Well, what would that give you? Well, that would give me more peace. Well, that would give me more grace, and then I just give you shorter answers. So there's a cadence that he does it or something,
Yeah, yeah,
and I was
yeah.
able to do it
Then
in
I
that
would get
circle.
so now I feel like I've gotten to the vertical, and then it would be like, okay, so if you take all that peace and that acceptance and patience into the future, like what do you imagine your life is going to be like with all that, right? Um,
Well, that's a funny thing for me. I can't see it really. It's more like,
or like the Peggy that continues to grow in grace and ease and patience and just trusting, and it just continues to expand throughout your whole being and expands into your life. Like like what might your life be like in a year or 5 years or 10 years? Like, well, what might you be
I'm
like?
imagining. I don't really get it seriously. Like
Yeah.
there's a way to where there'll be things that open up like that I just really don't have an idea of. Like I have a feeling that it's going to be some creativity and a way to where there'll be an enlivening, and I'm imagining there could be a left turn that I can't even imagine, but that So in some ways it feels a little like a chrysalis. And I don't mean it in the sense of, I mean, obviously I've already transformed it into something that I really like, but I just, um, and it could be really, really, really simple. Like maybe I'll be a hospice, you know, caregiver, or, you know, I always imagined I would be some sort of a teacher of some sort. Maybe that'll happen, but that feels egoic. So I don't know that it's going to be like that, you know. And then there's people who paint, and that's just shockingly not possible in my mind, but yet people have shit like that happen. So who knows?
Oh, well, do me a favor, record that session with Guy. I kind of want to hear it.
All right, are we done? Should I stop?
Yeah.